Welcome and hi. I am so happy that you're here with me today. And it's newer for me to be on video. So bear with me while I get my bearings, being in front of the camera and not just audio. It is definitely a learning curve in all the ways. This is your Akashic messages for July. If you are new to my channel, I always start each recording with an invocation. And I do an invocation every time I sit down at my altar, every time I'm with a client. It's just a nice way to bring in all the energies that you want to be in your surrounding area. And to filter out the ones that we don't. So we're really calling in, only those beings and entities that have our best interests at heart. Especially right now, you all, it is such an energetic, holy fire of a time. And there's so much energy swirling around at all times. So we really want to be very, very specific with who we call in and try to keep out the ones that maybe we don't want to have in our inner or outer circle. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do the invocation. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know I've been doing the invocation and I usually go right into it. So you're welcome to close your eyes while I do the invocation. Keep them open, whatever works for you. We ask for guidance from the universal spirit creator, our angels and our spirit guides, to move from soul to subconscious, from subconscious to conscious being, to higher self. We request protected conduit to the realm of the highest good, aligned only to light, so that we may raise our frequencies for the good of all beings, and so that we may step back to see and to be. We do request 100% connection to source and 100% gold cord connection at heart chakra. With thanks, humility, grace, and love, so mote it be. And I wanted to also mention, I'm going to be doing things a little different besides adding video, especially with the Akashic messages for the month. I'm going to go into the astrology like I usually do, but it's going to be really, really pared down. There's so much fluidity happening right now. And with that, the days kind of melt into each other. Time starts to really fall away, right? The clocks are real, the time is made up. And with the astrology too, it goes along the Gregorian calendar, which was, started by a pope in the 1500s. I don't know. It's just things that are like, do I want to be so exact with it? It's not making as much sense. Not to say that things aren't happening in the cosmos and things aren't going to continue to happen. But maybe we don't need to be so like, oh, it's only because of that, because there's literally so many other things, right? Yeah, let's still work with the energies of the full moon or the new moon, or Mercury's going retrograde, right? Mars is meeting the seven sisters tonight. We're going to get into that. And these are all really awesome and great things. I think I'm just trying not to be so fixed personally with it. I'm trying to flow. I'm trying to go with the flow here. So I'm going to do things a little different in that respect. Because when we go through such change, and holy moly, was April and May so crazy. It was, for me, really tough. Like, I am on the other end right now, so I am doing way good. But, oh, that was hard. So hard. And I know all of you, a lot of other people are going through these karmic poop loops, I'm calling, right? These karmic loops and you get these same thing or the same message, and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? How, what? It's making no sense, and it makes you feel absolutely bonkers. So we really need to step back and change, right? How we're looking at things, how we're interacting with other people, the experiences that we want to have, who we want to have them with. And it's not good, or it's not, oh, I'm going to do this because it's only good, or I'm only going to do this because, or I'm not going to do this because that person's bad or the experience is bad. It just means that it's not correct for you in the moment. And that is absolutely okay. And if your gut instinct is saying no, you know, then that's okay. Those that are meant to be around will understand. And I've been on both ends of needing to not be around somebody and having me probably be the person they need to be around at that moment. And it's not easy, right, to take all of that in, but it's a part of this growth that we're going through and this ascension. So it's essential to allow ourselves to have those feelings, to have the space, and to give ourselves grace through all of this is really, really important. So before we get into anything else, let's take that moment of silence for all those that are oppressed and needing extra love and hope. Let's go ahead and give them all that we can. Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Lebanon, Israelis that don't want what their government is doing, right? There's more and more Israelis coming forward saying, I don't want to be a part of this genocide. So let's hold all these folks and give them extra heart, love, and hope. Thank you so much for taking that moment with me. So with those karmic poop loops that I'm calling, karmic lessons, right, that we're having and we're dealing with in real time, I don't know, I might have mentioned my sofa saga where I ordered a sofa online and it was a sectional. And so one piece came. And when I opened that one piece, I was like, okay, this isn't the right color. And it was the wrong style. It didn't have a long back, right? It had a really short back. And so I got a hold of the company that night and said, hey, this is not what I was thinking of. Can I send it back? And it was really vague. But I was like, well, okay, I'm not gonna, it was so vague. I called the delivery company. I think I called FedEx, and I talked to FedEx, and they're like, oh yeah, if it comes and you don't want the rest of it, just refuse it, because if you're home, they won't deliver if you don't want it, right? If you say, no, that's not what I wanted, they won't deliver. So I did that. And this was at the beginning of May. So for the past month and a half, I have been dealing with texts from this and emails from this company, and was it about 2.5 weeks ago. I mean, every other day, the email was the same. "Oh, we are so sorry this is happening, and we feel you. But we're trying to get a hold of the right department." Like, for a month and a half? Are you kidding, right? So I started talking to who I paid through, and the Better Business Bureau actually filed a complaint just saying, "Hey, can you help? Because I'm getting nowhere." And finally, yesterday, and here's my karmic like poop loop, right? And I'm like, "Oh my God, please stop." I took a week off in May, and I didn't go anywhere. I didn't plan anything. I think I went to the lake once. I literally just needed to be still and not have anybody try to deliver anything or send me a message or talk to anybody on the phone, because it was so much to handle with just moving and work and all that. It was way too much. So that was mine, and I literally was like pulling my hair out at one point. Like, okay, we're so talking the same language, but nothing was communicating, right? Um, and then yesterday was a palindrome day. So it was 6/26/2006. So it's the same forward and backwards. And all of that was about like aligning and karmic loops ending. I was like, hey, hey, literally got an email that day from the people I paid through, because they were helping me too with all of this. And they said, listen, it's all taken care of. You're getting refunded, everything's good. I was like, oh, woohoo. So again, things are happening all the time, right? And it's fluid, and it was kind of cool that just happened to happen on that day. So I was really excited for that. Before we get into cosmos and what's going on in the sky, I wanted to bring up disclosures, because we're seeing more and more disclosures being spoken um, out loud by our government. And we're going to see more contact with extraterrestrial on Earth in July. That's coming through huge. Not that they already aren't here, but we're going to see more. Okay, as we start to go, I'm not going to choose that lower vibrational way of doing things in life. I'm going to choose this. It raises the frequency for all of us, right? The more we go, I don't think that was an intentionally based thing. I want something else, right? The moment we start to make that shift, we have the opportunity to step into different timelines and to raise our frequency. And so other beings feel that too. So with this happening, we want to get really focused. We want to keep our minds clear and keep questioning all of it still, because there will be some fake things happening also. So you really want to do your due diligence, make sure whoever you're getting your information from, you've looked into them and vetted them, so that it's true, because the shadow government is going to keep throwing crap at us, excuse me, that we just don't need, right? And we have the ability to say, no. So really coming into the fact that you do have power, and it feels like we don't as much right now, but you really do. You really have the power to make these changes and to decide how you want your life to be moving forward. Okay? It's all a choice. And the way we speak to ourselves and those around us is going to decipher a lot of that too. Because remember, our words are spells. So we are constantly giving spells out to ourselves and to the universe, and the universe listens. So we want to make sure we're in alignment with everything that we need, and that is going to be aligning at this time. So, and that's Disclosures. I have not had a chance to see Disclosure Day. I think it's called, the Steven Spielberg film that just came out. Let me know if you guys have seen that. I've heard both. I've heard some people say, hey, it's great. I really got a lot from it. And other people are, and they go and see it twice or, whatever. And other people like, no, it's complete crap. So I'm kind of like, especially with Spielberg, however you feel about him, he does movies usually well. And, kind of tugs at your heartstrings. And he's done sci-fi stuff before, right? So this is kind of his wheelhouse. And one of the things that kind of is roaming around, I'm sure you've seen too, is how does he know? Is he getting downloads? This isn't coincidental that this is all happening at the same time, right? This is supposed to happen. Anyways, Disclosures, lots coming out, lots being divulged and shown to us right now. So I was talking, as we get into the cosmos, talking about Mars meeting the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, and that is happening tonight, and you'll be able to see that through the 29th. So I'm recording this on the 27th of June, 2026. And so that starts this evening, and this won't happen again until 2034, I believe. And with Mars meeting the Seven Sisters, Mars is all about action and courage. And the Pleiades is more about higher wisdom and consciousness and soul truth. So we get a little bit of action with all of that. Hey, yes, please. I'll take some action, especially because on the 29th, we're going into of June. So before we get into July, we're talking a little bit about June still. But Mercury, is going to go retrograde in Cancer until the 23rd of July. So we've got that happening. Family and home will be impacted with Mercury going retrograde in Cancer. And again, this is our pause time. Instead of like, oh, here it comes, everything's going to get blown up. We really have this chance to pause and take everything in. And everything that's happened up until this retrograde is what you're going to be reviewing. Okay, so if there's been a lot of things with your home, I've had some things with my home. Okay, what am I reviewing about what I want in a home, right? Or how I want my home to be, who I want to have in my home, right? All of these things. So these are the themes that you'll be reviewing with it, but you could have had other things happening too. But right before this. And so those will be there for you to review. It'll be a time to step back, right? Get still and get that higher view of what's been happening in your life. On that same day, so the 29th of June, we've got a full moon coming up on Monday. Yep, on Monday. So full strawberry moon. So strawberry moon is called the strawberry moon because a lot of times strawberries are harvested this time of year. And it's also considered a love moon, a moon of unions and abundance and joy and harmony. It's also in Capricorn. So a lot of structure and a lot of processes that will come into all of that. I'm kind of enjoying that balance of the strawberry, the harmony, the joy, the union, with kind of a Capricorn, um, more defined processes and structure. I think that's a neat balance that we'll be able to interact with. And so getting into July, um, I am going to talk about the 4th of July, which is Independence Day in the United States, during your Akashic messages, because some things came through with that. So I'm going to skip to the 7th of July. Neptune is retrograde in Aries. So we'll have Mercury retrograde and Neptune retrograde. So Cancer and Aries. And the Neptune retrograde lasts until the 14th of December this year. With this dynamic week of a retrograde, we get to review and ask, where have we been operating from ego instead of soul aligned places? We really get to examine our spiritual relationships here, with self, right? Our spiritual relationship with self, with more courage and independence. And a bit of, when I hear warrior energy, I think of, it's going to scare me, but I'm going to do it because, we can do hard things. Thank you, Glennon Doyle. And that's a good thing. Yeah. I know there's some things that have been coming up for me where I'm like, where is that coming from? Why am I operating in that way? Where are those feelings coming up? Is this ego? Is this, what is it? And so we'll have that time to kind of just step back and, we get to ask ourselves too, like, how do we surrender around this? And are we playing a hero role or pioneer? Are we really blazing a trail forward with the collective? So it'll be interesting to sit with that. I'm looking forward to that energy and the information it'll bring. On the 14th, we've got a new moon in Cancer, and of course, home and family, and a chance to also expand your support system. So I'm hearing it'll probably happen. There'll be a lot of aligning with this. It won't necessarily be like, I need so much help, and like you trying to ask for help. More like you're going to be around people who are like, I see you. I see this struggle or this thing you're going through, and how can I help? So more support. On the 22nd, we've got Leo season starting. Play, romance, joy, right? Big-hearted Leos. If you know any Leos, nurturing mamas, big nurturers. Any Leos you have in your life. I'm thinking of a couple of my friends that their energy is so much like that, and I appreciate that about them so much. It's really beautiful to be around, and lots of laughing. So lots of laughing. Welcome Leo season on the 22nd. And on the 26th, we have got Saturn retrograde in Aries. Oh, we got more retrograde. Stick to your plans, and do the right thing. Are you getting the Spike Lee movie in your head? I am. How do we do the right thing in the right instance, right? Well, we're going to tap into our instincts and we're going to tap into our intuition and follow it, right? It's going to be the right thing. If it's aligning for you, obviously not harming somebody, but if you're doing the right thing for you and raising your frequency and everything's good, then it's going to be the correct thing. Okay, that's what do the right thing is. Do the right thing. Saturn retrograde in Aries. So we're going to have a lot of review time in July, which with the energy of the fire horse this year, I'm really feeling like this is going to be a welcome time of repose, rest, review, rewind. I'm going to look back at something and just delve into it a little bit deeper. On the 29th, we've got the full moon in Aquarius, change and more change. Aquarius is really good with all of that. Stay disciplined because you're going to feel like you're going to have to finish stuff quicker. And if we stay disciplined, we can finish what we've been working on in a more focused way. So with that Aquarius full moon. So again, there's the cosmos. We did go over a little bit. It's hard when you start to see things be more fluid, like for myself and my clients, the chakras, where we're doing more work with the higher chakras, the non-embodied chakras. And, these are systems that are going, hey, we're higher frequency. Everybody's, really looking for that. How can I get to those higher frequencies and stay there? So again, thank you for being patient with me with my new equipment and being on video. This is different for me. So thank you for being kind while I figure all of this out. And my other video I did with Monica, the fortunes and financials, everything was not perfect with that video at all. And I asked her, she said, Carrie, it's kind of nicer if it's a little bit more relatable, if it's not perfect. I thought, let's just roll with that for now while we're learning. So you guys are going to just be learning with me. So thank you. All right, let's get into the Akashic messages for July. So the first image was aquamarine water. It was calm, still, and refreshing. It was a sunny day, and there was not a cloud in the sky. And it was like literally just that. Okay. And that's reminded me a lot of high heart energy. And the message is get still with your high heart. Chakra number 8, which I talked about a couple episodes ago. So if you're not familiar with that chakra, go listen to that episode. I think it was just like 2 or 3 ago. Think of high heart as a place to breathe, sigh, take it all in, all the messages that are coming in, because there's been a lot, and give yourself time to rest. And reflect before you speak. Okay, so those are the messages, with that aquamarine water, high heart energy coming in for the collective. Not surprised. This has been coming up a lot for clients, for myself. We're really kind of in the thick of high heart energy, in that bridge between our heart and our throat and the seat of our soul. We want our souls to feel ease going through all the things we're going through. Having a sense of ease shifts things tremendously. The second image I got was of Trump walking, and he was in side view, and he's talking and he's pointing at people like, you do this and you task, and you do that task. And it wasn't mean or like aggressive. It was just like, oh yeah, this needs to be done and that needs to be done, right? And he's like walking again, so he's in movement. And the message is, he is so comfortable in his role as a change maker through chaos that, he's got this. I mean, he's president of the United States, right? I mean, he got there by a lot of people voting for him. A lot of people are happy with their decision, and a lot of people aren't. They're like, I don't know if I, like the fact that I voted for this guy. But he got all these people to agree with him, and he thinks he's great. So how can you shift your narrative in your own life to be the one that you're so comfortable with? It's a hard thing, right? And it's interesting that he came through. I'm like, really? Okay. And I've really been working on trying to be unbiased more, right? Like, how can I continue to get that 0 point? So I'm not leaning this way, not leaning that way. So I can really focus on the messages that need to come through and why. But he really is comfortable in that role of his, right? And we get to start here with ourselves, and that frequency will ripple out. I thought it was interesting too that, Trump is the president as we're going into the 250th year of the United States being a country, sovereign from Europe, and also, 250 years of us having genocide of indigenous people. He still has induced more chaos that divides than brings us together. So that's a little bit of a problem. That's a little bit of a problem there. But interesting that he came up in the Akashic messages for us to go, well, he thinks his poop doesn't stink. So, how do I sit in with my own ness and be okay with how I'm supposed to interact with this world? Because there's people that are going to love us and there's people that are not going to like us. And that's just how it goes, right? There's people I'm more drawn to watch podcast stuff, and others I'm not as, just because personal, whatever. So those are the Akashic messages. I thought I had a third image coming through, but I was told by Archangel Metatron to talk about the Merkaba. Because you guys know I work a lot with Archangel Metatron. If you've had a reading with me, she comes a lot for a lot of you. And the Merkaba supports us as we embark on, Metatron's energy helps us as we embark on this new journey. And she always comes and says, okay, things are absolutely changing. There's no end of her buts. Things are changing. The Merkaba, Mer means light, Ka means spirit, and Ba means body. And that represents balance, protection, and heightened vibration. So the Merkaba, if you're not familiar with it, I am going to link it on the Infinite Dance Facebook page. So I will have an image of that you can reference. But it consists of 2 tetrahedrons, so triangular shaped pyramids, right? And one is upward facing or upward, and that represents male. And the other one is downward facing, and that represents female, receptive energy. Male's active, female's receptive, and it is considered a vehicle of light. And it includes the golden ratio and sacred geometry. And it's really important when you start to work with the Merkaba that you envision the electro energy, the top energy, the male energy, spinning clockwise. And the feminine energy, the magnetic energy, spinning counterclockwise. Okay? Very important don't have them spinning the same way. We want them to spin the opposite way. Okay, think of two magnets trying to come together, right? They're going to repel. We don't want repelling, we want harmony. And we want a clear channel. So that's what the Merkaba is going to offer you if you see it in that light. All right, so that wraps up your Akashic messages, cosmos, and for July. And I'm hoping you enjoy a new way to experience the infinite dance. I have said for a long time that I'm going to do video and that I'm going to have more guests on, and that is all happening this year. So I'm so excited. I've got a really great guest that I'm interviewing next week that I'm like beyond excited about. And I think you guys will all really enjoy him too. If you want a private reading, you can reach me at ancientbodyworks.com. I am in the Reno Tahoe area. I do readings online, and they include chakra clearings and healings also. And I do teach how to read the records and interact with all of the dimensions and archangels and starseeds and going over all of that. So that's included in the Guideship program. You can reach out to me at ancientbodyworks.com if you would like to know more about how to become involved in that program. And I will go over everything with you. It's 6 months long, and I meet with you once a month live, but I do prompt you every week during that time. So you are getting supported the whole time that you are going through that program. And it really helps you to come into how to decipher the messages coming through, who's coming through, and why. We get into frequencies, too, how to work with those. And Toth, we talk a lot about Toth and his impact on all of us. So that's the Guideship program. I'd love to have you in that. I also do private sound journeys. So those can be done online or in person also. If you haven't already, go over to the Facebook page, The Infinite Dance, on Facebook. I'd love to have you there. You can post images or memes or anything else you might want to share with like-minded souls. And I am on Substack. So under my name, Carrie Errata. Love to interact with you there too. That is really becoming a great outlet. I've been really enjoying that. So if you like the longer form content, it also has videos and pictures too. But people write more essays, and there's a lot of engaging with others. That's been really, really nice. So continue to peel back the layers of your amazing being and continue to ask yourselves and each other, may I have this dance? Thank you so much. Love, love, love all of you. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate you. See you next time.